Welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. Today we're going to look at, this is an athlete I just started to work with remotely. He's a triathlete. He was injured, can't really run much, so he's trying to really work on his swim to improve it. So we will dive right in. So the first thing we always want to think about when we're, looking at this stuff is everything driving straight forward? And so, the first thing that we see right here is you can see that arm just crosses over midline. He's got kind of the midline going that way. So there's going to be a lot of instability. And any time, and we've talked about this before, anytime an athlete gives up stability in the water, they're going to be giving up power and efficiency. And so here's the one thing where you can see it kind of really manifest. You can see anytime you get a big scissor kick like that, that's always a sign of a large amount of instability in the stroke or with the athlete in the water. Got to remember that water is dynamic and unstable. So we've got to create that stability in the water if we want to be efficient. So that's always a sign, that scissor kick at the back like that there's some instability probably from the movement in the water. So here you can see this is a little thing that he's doing. He's really dropping that elbow on the right side, so you can see it right there. His body position looks pretty good. There's just seems to be seemingly either a lack of connection from the hand back to the core, or he's just not getting a ton of feeling, or somewhere in here he's not driving that stroke straight forward. And so that would be one of the things that you'd want to work on, would be just to get that driving straight forward, connected back to the core. That's going to provide a little bit more stability. Everything's going to start driving straight forward. Breath looks pretty good. He's not rotating too much to get the breath. So here we can look at and see what's happening underwater. And you can see when we've got something where that crossover happens. You can see that crossover and there's that elbow drop. Now, here's what he does. He goes way, way out here on the pole. So out here on the pole, where we're like this, there's just no leverage out there. That hand right there at the start of the catch in the pole has just no leverage on the water. So you can see also there's that foot coming down. That's all drag that he's pulling against. So then out here, the other thing is we're putting a lot of pressure right there. So that's typically how, when you see athletes who get bicep tendonitis, this is usually what the stroke looks like. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but if you do it enough and if you do it with enough power, then, yeah, you can get some bicep tendonitis. So, here we go, 164. Typically want to see that somewhere between about 100 to 110 degrees, so something more like that. And then when we go on to the other side, maybe a little bit, there's that big turn right there. So, you're putting midline there. This hand is kind of out of position to really get any leverage. And then there's our scissor kick, creating drag. So here, as you rotate through, again, not enough of a pull. Again, what we'd want would be something more like that. So you figure midline's right there. There's in line with the shoulder. That's going to give him more leverage. He's going to be able to get into that lat in the back of all the big muscles in his back, and which will make for a lot more effective, efficient pull. So here's that drop of the elbow. You get to see it a little bit better. And from this point, all he's going to be doing is pressing down on the water, not pulling himself forward. So that would be one of the things that you'd want to address, but the first thing you'd want to look at would be just getting everything driving straight forward. So that's going to be that position 11 drill. So you want to get long in the water with a lot of core engagement. One cue is bring the belly button up into the spine. That's going to help engage the core. You're going to point your toes, keep your legs together, just trying to stay really, really long on the water. And then just try to hit the same spot with your hand for each stroke on the stick. Just do it over and over again. A lot of core engagement. Really connected together, front to back. If you don't have a stick, you can use a kickboard. Although I'm not as much of a fan, just because the kickboard might not be wide enough. So to really get the core to engage, really force it to engage, we can kick with the brick. This is going to force that straight line down the middle of your body, give you a lot of stability, drive everything forward, get the kick and the core connected together. And then the last one would be the dog paddle drill. So then you can see here, you're just working that, underwater pull, not recovering on the stroke. You can use a pull buoy, squeeze your legs together a little bit. That's going to help engage the core. And then if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can do it with mitts. So the mitts are going to take some of the feel away, and those are the Aquavolo sensory mitts, and you can it's going to force the core to engage a little bit more. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the pool soon.